Good evening, friends, neighbors, distinguished guests. Again, my name is Steve Glasso, President of Little League Association. I'd like to welcome you all to the 18th annual State of the Neighborhood Dinner. I'm sure a lot of you noticed, we're no longer on the rooftop of Nelson's Photo, as that's soon to be a restaurant. So I want to at this time go ahead and thank County Supervisor Ron Roberts and Sal Giametta for arranging for us to be up on this rooftop. It's the first time it's been done. But we like to always be on the cutting edge here in Little Italy, so I hope everybody enjoys this venue and behaves yourselves so we can be invited back again next year. Ron and Sal have been friends of Little Italy ever since its inception, and I want to again thank them for everything that they do for the association and for Little Italy. Also want to thank New City America, Marco Lamelandri and all his staff. If an event's happening literally, most of the time they're involved with it, and they do a great job, as you can see. And anytime you do a first-time event like this, it's difficult to figure things out, particularly on a slope that we had to deal with here. But Chris, Marco, and all your staff did a fabulous job. I want to thank you on behalf of the association. Also want to thank all the restaurants that have donated their food and time, and all the vendors that have donated. Thank you very much. Couldn't do it without you. And also our fabulous Little Italy maintenance crew. Where are any of them around? Stand up. They're the guys you see in the street all the time, sweeping, mopping, taking care of the dog pee. Great group of guys.
People say, well, what is the Little Italy Association? You know, it's not me. I mean, it's all the officers, it's all the maintenance employees, the valet employees. It's quite an operation. I tell you, when we started, and Danny knows this, Steve knows this, 1996 we had no money, and this year our budget will be $2.5 million. And we did it all legitimately, and we did it all by working in the community. And we are now the most lucrative, most organized, actually the best Little Italy in the country. And there was an article in the New York Times. It's called Nolita. I mean, it's a real estate ploy that's Little Italy, and they're north of Little Italy on Mulberry Street. So they called it Nolita because it's north of Little Italy, right? That's what a real estate person would do. But you know what's taken off? Our motto is Little Italy, a hip and historic district. What's their motto? Nolita, a hip and historic district. So they ripped that off, but that's okay because it's actually a compliment. And there's a brand new Little Italy starting in Rochester, New York. A lot of Italians in upstate New York. What's their motto? Little Italy, Rochester, a hip and historic district. So thanks, Jennifer, for getting everybody to take our slogan. So this is the association. It is basically 48 square blocks, Laurel on the north, Interstate 5 on the east, going down Front Street, down to Ash, and then out to Pacific Highway. So this is we're a district management corporation. We operate and can try to arrange everything and coordinate everything within that area. So we have a board of directors, and you really can't see these committees, but we have multiple committees. Community Advisory Board, Finance Committee, Mobility and Parking, District Identity, the Legacy Committee, which is just getting off its feet and it's raising lots of money in Little Italy. Project Review looks at all new projects, and Sidewalk Operations. And all those are chaired by different board members. We have approximately 30 board members and probably close to 70 people on working those committees. So there are a lot of people in the entire Little Italy sphere. And then you look at what our income is and what our expenses are. And we won't go into all this detail, but the biggest thing is the blue part. And the blue part is dealing with the public rights-of-way. Sidewalk to property line, curb to property line. That's what people experience when they go into a community. What does it smell like? What does it look like? How does it feel? Is it safe? Is it attractive? That's the overwhelming majority of our money. And you can see I had mentioned this great piece of the pie is what CAT brings in on the Mercato. This was in 2015. We had about $2.5 million. And we also get parking meter money thanks to the mayor's office and Councilman Gloria's office. And we've been working with that for years. That's what pays for our valet program. So we have all different forms of revenue, and they all go into pay different things. everything is dedicated. So we just don't put the money in and stir the big pot of sauce and then spit it out. It's all designated and it's all allocated. What's our residential growth? So in 2000, we had 195 new residences, and this is cumulative. And through 2015, we had 2,705. So that's a growth of at least 10 times. And you can see where the recession hit in 2008 and it flattened. Next year, we'll probably get another 1,000 units that are being built in Little Italy. So when you come here next year, there'll probably be a high-rise under construction right across that wall. And you'll see other things on the horizon. You'll see the Fenton project will be done. And a lot of these buildings that you see that are maybe one story and aren't historic, they'll be converted too because people want to live here. Sales tax. This tells you the growth. All this money goes to the city of San Diego. We started at $1 million in 2004. We're almost double that in 2014. That's primarily from restaurants. Our valet program. We park cars with our parking meter districts. We have about 16 valet employees. You'll see the blue is 2014-15. The orange is 2015-16. Last month in June, we parked 1,400 cars through our valet program, and that's to get them off the street. So we can have, because not everybody's using this parking structure, we move cars off the street so people can enjoy being in Little Italy. 1,858 property owners, 519 business owners, almost 1,300 hotel rooms, and almost 4,000 employees are in what we call Little Italy. 17 maintenance workers, 2 pressure washing guys, 3 landscape, and then 16 valet employees. So we have, close to 37, 38 employees now. And 20 years ago, it was Shirley and I. That was it. So it's grown quite a bit. So words mean something. When we say something, for example, if I were to talk about New York's Little Italy, Mulberry Street, some people have great memories and other people don't think so much of it. So words convey messages. That's what we've been trying to do here in Little Italy. So when I was little, apple meant apple, right? You ate it. And now it became Steve Jobs, and it transformed the whole communication industry. It's the same word, but it means something different. Then we knew about the Amazon River, right? That was a river, and now it's destroying retail all throughout the country. And you see these trucks all over. Same word, right? Amazon. It doesn't mean, I think most people, kids don't even know that Amazon's a river. I think they think it's just a truck that carries a lot of stuff. The Beatles, right? Before 1961, you thought of Beatles. I said, that's so gross. But then they transformed. You say Beatles now, it's a whole different thing, right? Same word, different concept, different meaning. Google, who invented that word, right? Seriously, when you say it started out as a noun and now it's a verb. That has transformed the way we operate and the way we live. And Uber, 3 years ago, no one would have said, what the hell is an Uber? But now you say Uber and it means something completely different. Now, the taxi industry doesn't like it, but Uber is part of our vocabulary at this point. And then you see someone like this, Little Italy, right? Means something completely different. Is when you put these words together, they send messages. That's what they're in the business of doing, is putting forward concepts and messages. So one thing that I do, and I do this a lot really all throughout the country, is branding. How do you brand something? What does it mean? So I have different signs that I've taken from throughout the country. This is in Sacramento. Pancake Circus, steaks, seafood, and salads, breakfast anytime. So you would look at that and you say, why the hell would I go here? Now, I said that at a meeting one time, and somebody says, they make great pancakes. And I said, well, then they should stick to it, because you don't know why you'd be going there. Now, this is in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Dartmouth's own roast beef and pizzeria. So I'm not sure. And then it's got, Santa Claus all over the windows, and it says roast beef, brick oven pizza. How you put that together, I'm not sure. Do they know what they are? This is the best. This is my brother-in-law, Silvio, who took us to this stupid place in Maine. We kept driving, and he said he promised us to get lobster, and you can't see, it says fish and optician, lobsters and eyeglasses. So seriously, who are they appealing to? Lobsters that can't see? I mean, so these are all real things. I didn't concoct these things. This all has to do with your brand. Now, I live in Kensington. Laura and I, and one of our kids lives in Kensington. Criminal beware. Look at this sign. Seriously, look at the sign. 25 years ago they put it up. It was new. Now it's like, please come and commit crime in this neighborhood because nobody cares, right? These are ridiculous things. They send the completely wrong message. Oh, and this is the best one. All of us growing up, Pilgrims, Plymouth Rock, the whole shot. So Laura and I and Steve and Rosie decided to go see, God, we got to see Plymouth Rock. It's like one of those things on the bucket list, the Rock. It's like when you're going to East County and you go to Lakeside, you see those big boulders up on the hill. So they have this whole thing here, this Roman Greek, monument, and then it says Plymouth Rock. And you look down at it, it's 6 feet wide. This table there is the same size. It's like, are you kidding? That all your life you've heard about Plymouth Rock. And then you go there, and even the store owner said, don't expect anything too big. And Steve told me that too. He's a Massachusetts boy. So how you market that and how you drive people to a place to look at a 6-foot rock is just really beyond me. But it's really genius. And then I had to take this picture. I was in Washington, D.C., and I said, this is how they get legislation. They take it out of the outhouse, and then they deliver it up to the Capitol Hill. And I just thought it was such a great symbolic example of what's going on in Washington, D.C., because these guys don't know if they're going to the bathroom or making legislation. And I'm ending with this one. Now, I took this picture on Mulberry Street, New York City, and I think 1998, 1999. These guys are arguing about whatever they're arguing about. Like, you're selling your pasta $1 less than me, right? Don't they notice where they're, as my wife says, they either don't know or don't care. There's a table and chair right there. Would you sit there? Don't you look at that? You're arguing in front of this wall that's covered with graffiti. You have a little table and chair, and you want to know why your business is going down. So messages are really important. Branding is really important. This is what we never want to become. So walkable neighborhoods are the best. That's everything. That is our model. We're trying to become, we stress all of our efforts on walkability, sociability, and all the things that make it a calm, enjoyable neighborhood. So, of course, these are models. This is a model dog, and this is a model woman, a model guy, and they're happy, and they're walking Little Italy, and that's great, and that's what Olive makes us do. They said you need to get models to take pictures so we can give them to magazines, and it works. It works out actually very well. We also do, one thing we know is that most people will walk probably about 1 foot a second. 4 feet a second. So it means if you go from Cedar to Date, it's going to take you 75 seconds to walk on that street. So we're trying to slow people up. So Jack Pecoraro came up with this idea of the legends. We have the legends for his family on the side of the La Pension. Tommy Battaglia in front of Cafe Zucchero. We have the Brunetto family in front of Mona Lisa, and we have the Di Filippi family in front of Filippi's. Each of these groups put forward their own money. Chris designs them. We went to a cemetery company. They can etch them with laser right now, and it's wonderful. The whole idea is to slow people down and teach them about our community. And we look at, the tables, chairs, and umbrellas. We just fit them in there. These are all construction workers. Anybody can come and use those, and to me, that's what makes this community great. It's not just one type of people. It's all different types of people. The Piazza Barcellona, the entire purpose of this was to pay tribute to the boys that never came home in Little Italy. And Joe Corleone's uncle is up there. Your uncle, right, Joe? Right. And the whole point of this was just have people, because of Amazon, we don't have retail anymore for all intents and purposes. All the big stores, bookstores, music stores, all those things are gone. So, but what's taking its place is public spaces. People like sitting and watching people. Malls will never be able to achieve that. That's why we build piazzas. We want people to feel comfortable here. So this was our first piazza at Piazza Villaggio, which is at Indian Beach Street, and we decorate it and we make it welcoming for the people that are in Little Italy or just walking by. And then you know that in the fall and in the holiday season, we put the scarecrows and people take pictures of them with kids all the time. And it's just a simple thing. Since we don't really have the changing colors in San Diego, we do it through our props. And these props are very, very inexpensive, but they're on every corner. And then we also do it with the toy soldiers. And it's worked out great. People love them. And our maintenance guys had to build that green step because so many people were sitting on that toy soldier. And then we put up the big red chair. Now, this is, where's Laura, my wife? She's hiding. Oh, there she is. Raise your hand, dear. So we went to a place, it's called the Black Whale, and it's in New Bedford. And we saw this great chair, and we said, God, we should do that in Little Italy, because so many people, as you know, stand in the middle of the street, and they take pictures under the sign. It's really dangerous. So we worked with Danny and Steve, and we said, let's place this so people can sit there under the sign. And you'll see, how many, Chris, what would you say? How many people have posted pictures? 330 people have posted pictures. And here's the Chargers. The Chargers were sitting in the middle of it 2 weeks later, and they look like little kids sitting in it. But it's so cool that everybody loves sitting in this chair. And this is my granddaughter here on the right. They had to make faces. So it just works out well. It's another thing that we do. Why? We want to slow people up. We want them to enjoy Little Italy. And the chair has been a wild success. And Jason on our crew was the guy that developed it. You'll see our public spaces in front of Mimo's and Zucchero and Filippi's. Just people love hanging out and talking. You look, this is what India Street looked like in 1999. Two sides of parallel parking, the old Mimo's. That billboard is still there. But we had the ficus trees here on the corner, and I just took this picture. It's a different place. When Fenton gets done with the construction, it'll open up. We'll have the diagonal parking back again. But it's a different place completely in the course of about 16 years. Now, where have we come from? This is what the church used to look like. Not that long ago. Telephone wires, no landscaping. Church is and has always been the heart of Little Italy. It's the spiritual core of Little Italy. And without Father Grancini's leadership from Our Lady of the Rosary, we would not have a Little Italy Association. And you see how wonderful it looks. No telephone poles, painted by the Pecoraro family, and just beautification there. And the church has been and continues to be the center of our community. Washington Elementary School. When people had a concept of architecture, and they built great schools, and then we had an earthquake in 1980, and they said, it's got to come down. So it came down, and it's still a great school, but it doesn't look as wonderful as it once did. We look at Indian Date. This is the old Reader building. This was a permanent black hole when the Reader was there. You know, people, they made all their windows dark. You see there's news racks on the side, bus stop there. This was Indian Date, the corner of Main and Main in 1999 in Little Italy. And we did a lot. There's a lot of new development that's going. This is the Bella Via where the Burger Lounge is. This is where Jan lives. And it was under construction. This was Indian Beach looking north. This is where you see Villa Maria, Indigo Grill. This is what Little Italy looked like in 1999. A different animal completely. Things have changed so radically. So the last 12 months, it took us, I think, 8 years to get these signs. And finally, people can leave the trolley and they can find out how to get around Little Italy. We have the dog park. And the dog park is a work in progress. But we had to separate the kids and the dogs, and we were able to do it. And what we wound up getting, this was a historic house that was on Date Street, and I want to thank the Fenton Company. They lifted this historic house, and Mike Neal, who's in the back, Mike says, okay, well, what should we do? I said, move it 2 blocks up and make it into a bathroom. We can't do anything in Amici Park Luke's the head of the Amici Park Task Force. We can't do events there without a restroom. Fenton lifted the house up, moved it 2 blocks, got it up to ADA standards, built a men and women's bathroom in the back, and they did it and donated to the association. So I want to thank Fenton for doing that. We would have never, ever, ever. Mike, where's Mike and John? Stand up. Stand up, gentlemen. I'm going to stop the show. Thank you, guys. They did not have to do that. And this is when we open up the dog park. You know, this is a dog with a prop, you know, catching the Frisbee. The other dogs here. All this grass is completely gone at this point. It's like a dirt mud bog. But we've now got a commitment of $50,000 from someone named Gina Champion Kane, who said, I will put in $50,000 for artificial turf if you guys can match it. So we have 3 months to match it. So we're going to be hammering all the dog owners so they can actually get good artificial turf there for the dogs. And this is what Olive does. This was international coverage for Little Italy. National coverage for Little Italy. And local coverage for Little Italy. You see, and I hate this. Is like some guy feeding his face. That's not what we want to see in Little Italy. But there's Frank Buslaki and I. Frank? Where's Frank? Over there. You should have Frank sign the autograph. The master baker. But these guys got us all this coverage. And then this was our social media. 53,000 Facebook followers, 22,000 Instagram, 5,700 Twitter, 594 Pinterest, and 73 YouTube. I don't know what any of that means, but I would tell you that I know it's great. And Olive does it all. And this is our website. We just changed our website. The pink is this year. The blue was last year. We're halfway through the year. You can see how it peaked. And we're getting much more coverage on our website. The Mercato. Last year I did the PowerPoint. Kat says, nice PowerPoint. You didn't have the Mercato in it, jerk. So this time we had to put like 6 pictures of the Mercato in it, so I'm not yelled at by Kat for the next year. We also see this is the Taste of Little Italy, which Sandy and her crew did. They sold out 1,500 tickets? 1,500 tickets. And they weren't cheap, and then people couldn't even finish all the food that they were going through. And then we got Amici Park. We have the Festa, and a part of the Festa is the bocce ball courts, the dancing, the chalk drawing, and the stickball. That's all done by Sandy's group too. And then the Christmas tree lighting. We have Santa, and Santa is here with us today, but he's wearing a Jimmy Buffett hat instead of that. But our crew does that. They construct that tree. They put out $5,000 worth of poinsettias. That's the way it looks at night. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful event. Just so you guys know, this year, the tree lighting is going to be from on India Street, and we're shutting down between Cedar and Fir. So we're going to light 2 trees, one in the new Piazza Familia and one at the Piazza Barcelona. So it's going to be a wonderful event. This is what we work with Chris Ward on. I hate railings. You know, you cage people to drink. We worked on this for years. This is Cafe Gratitude. You can drink outside, no railings. And Bar 1 is starting to do this now. Our goal is to get rid of railings all over Little Italy. We want to make sure that people can jog in the morning, walk their dogs, walk their kids. If the business isn't open, it's a much more European feel to it. County parking structure was built over the last year and just opened. We couldn't do this a year ago. We're doing a Piazza de Tom Fat. This was the old Fat City. This is the new hotel. They kept the front of it. And Tom was a wonderful, we lost him 10 years ago this year, but there will be a tribute to Tom coming very soon. And then Alsco, 100-year-old sidewalks. And it was just pathetic. Chris worked with the city. We used our parking meter funds. They dug up everything, redid it, and now there's 4 trees that are there. It makes it a far more desirable thing. Alsco's not going anywhere. It's been there since 1925. So our goal is to make it as attractive as possible while people were walking on it. New businesses. There's Barbusa, which was the old Polpazzo. Nelson Photo is going to become Born and Raised by Arslan, who's doing that. Salunto finally opened, which is great. Antonino opened that. And Bar 1 by Jim Barone. And then we look at it, and John, how many employees are at Desk Hub? Do you know? How many people work there? 210. Oh, God, John, a lot. Thanks, John. So the whole second floor, this is the old Industry Design Center, is now Desk Hub, and it's a co-work space, and there were many, many people that work there. Little Italy is becoming a center not only of great restaurants and great residences, but also high-tech companies. And those are the people that like public spaces. They love sitting outside. They're not indoor people. There's a surf shop on the corner. There's a wine shop right next door. And there's something going in at the old Convivio site. We also had Bracero that opened up a year ago right across the street. Crofton Commerce has got their soft opening tonight. Herb and Wood just opened up at the corner of Ivy and Kettner, and also the Crack Shack opened up at the corner of Juniper. And all these things are happening. Anybody who remembers Kettner Street remembers it was just old industrial beat-up buildings, and it's transformed radically. Now, I'm not going to mention who did this, but we have a construction project. Those of you that have gone to into Mona Lisa, you know they have a really big driveway, right? Well, right in the middle of the driveway, there's a little bump. And it's because you couldn't have a 50-foot curb cut. So there's a construction project going to North Little Italy, and the traffic control people said, oh, there's a little bump. Let's put this sign right in the middle of their driveway. So we immediately got a call from Dominic Brunetto and said, somebody just put a sign in the middle of my driveway. Someone's going to hit it. Within 24 hours, it was lying on the ground. Those are some of the things that we have to deal with. This is not all, roses and everything. And you all know this. I don't have to tell you. We deal with people all the time who are really broken people and really need to be fixed. And we're working close with the County of San Diego to try to come up with a program that tries to fix people that either are mentally ill or they're drug addicted. But we also have to understand there are certain things that are not acceptable in the public right-of-way. So where we're going in the future. What's in store for tomorrow? Now you say, what the hell is this? Well, this is a pixel Mona Lisa, which is being done by Washington Elementary School, which will be up on the freeway as you're exiting southbound on Grape Street. It's something that Washington Elementary School is putting together, and it says ciao. And then we have the Fenton Project. This used to be Date Street at Indian Date. We used to have the Christmas tree. Steve's got a great video of the tractor destroying the Christmas tree. And the Christmas tree, I think, was crying, actually, when it went down. But you know what? We knew it was going to be moved across the street, that the end product would be great. Fenton put parking underneath there. That whole street's going to become a piazza. This is the construction that's under right now. This is what it's going to look like. It opens in the spring of 2017. So next year, that will be open, and there will be close to 130 people or 130 units there, restaurants on the ground floor, all facing the piazza. This will become our town center. And again, I want to thank Mike Neal and John Larea for the great work that they've done here. This will be unlike any Little Italy in the country. And we have plans for Piazza Giannini, named after Amedeo Giannini, Piazza Frankie Lane, Piazza Pescatore, Piazza Costanza, Piazza Stefano, which is named after Father Stephen Grancini, and Piazza Tommaso, which is named after Tom Fatt. Those are all in the works right now. We're fundraising for everything. Auto radio specialists. This Bank of America gave us a grant for $25,000, thanks to Vic Calise and Charlie Corradino in our legacy committee. And our plan is by November, we'll have a piazza dedicated to Amedeo Giannini, who invented branch banking in the country. No tribute to him, really, in San Francisco. That's where he came from. We're going to do one right here. Another one to Frankie Lane. This is the current Piazza Villaggio. We're going to be moving out the tables, chairs, and umbrellas into the street, taking out a few parking spaces, but making up for them on Beach Street. And this will become another piazza. We want people to slow down. And we're removing very, very few parking spaces, but the one we're removing, we're mitigating with. This is Caliber Auto Body. You guys all remember that. Looking south, this is on Ivy. And Rich says you just hit bottom, right, Rich? Okay, so now they start going up. But this was there forever, not really a big contributor to the community. Cars would get fixed, they'd be parked, and then they moved out. But this is what it will look like within about 18 months. 18 months. And all this will be retail. And you see the Caliber facade that was kept on the ground floor. So they've been able to keep some of the more historic features. This is looking right past Chase, the old John Hancock building. This is what's being planned right now. It's Lennar's building a 22-story building there. Now, the people in Aqua Vista aren't really hot on that idea, but you have aerial suites behind it. But this will probably house another 300 or so people at the corner of Columbia and Ash. This is going to be, you'd never know that this site could exist, but it's Grape and California Street. The first condos in Little Italy are being built in the last 6 years. That will be built here. I think it's around 84 condos. It's all empty right now. It's a clear lot, and this construction should start within about a month or so. When you're coming down the Hawthorne Street and coming through the bridge, this is what you'll see in a few years. It's the Alexan project being built by Trammell Crow. It's not really pleasant to look at right now, but we're working with them on a monument or some type of public feature here, and it'll say Alexan Little Italy. Be far more desirable than what's going on. This project, some of you know it who live in the neighborhood. It's a massage parlor slash marijuana place slash, what is the other one? Nail salon? Right. What? Cleaner? Yeah, it's all in one. Jonathan Siegel's going to be building these units with his son, and we think it's a great addition to the community. So that's all going away, and Jonathan's in the process of doing that right now. This is the old Los Panchitos. It's going to become the fire station that Todd was alluding to. This is this no man's land, Caltrans remnant parcel that's a jungle. You can see where it was set on fire up at the top because a lot of homeless people live under that bridge. We've been working with Chris Ward to try to get Caltrans to turn this over to us so we can put our nursery there. So when people are coming under the State Street Bridge, it's very attractive. So those are the things that we're working on, and this is one of our new initiatives. And that's it. And I just want to say a few words, as I always do. I want to end with two quotes. Actually, it's three quotes. And as I travel around, I see these. You know, a lot of us believe we're in a race against time. You know, all of you don't know, we don't know how long we're going to live, right? And we know that looking at a lot of these pictures that Tom Fatt was here, Tommy Battaglia was, they're no longer here. Mimo Giglio was here. People are gone. So we're in a race against time. And the one thing, it's on the Martin Luther King promenade. It says, procrastination is the thief of time. Martin Luther King. Could not be better said. There's no reason to procrastinate. So when Jan says things that I bug him, or Steve Pitt says things, or Felipe, it's because we don't have that much time. We're trying to do as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Peter Drucker, who is a great management theorist, said, to predict the future, you must create it. That's the whole story of Little Italy. If we want to predict what's going to happen, we have to create it. If someone says no, we have to figure out how do we make that a soft no instead of a hard no. How do we try to figure these things out? And Socrates said a great quote. He says, the greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. And a lot of people pretend to be certain things, but they're not. So if we are who we pretend to be, then we'll achieve a lot more. And I would tell you that we have a wonderful staff, Chris, Shirley, Rosie, Laura, John, Joe, Moni, Lisi, all these people. And let's give them a really big hand of applause. None of this could happen without them. And then we have Jason. Raise your hand, Jason. Jason and the crew and the maintenance guys. They set all this up. They're taking it all down. This is going to be a normal parking lot. They said no. We have a normal parking lot tomorrow, but I've got to tell you that this is wonderful work. It makes life worth living. And I would just tell you, if you look around and you see everything that's happened, we're only 30% of where we're going to be, as far as I'm concerned. So we need to do as much as possible every single year. And if someone does say no, we have to determine if that's a soft no or a hard no. And I want to thank you all for coming, supporting the association. And hopefully we'll be back here next year, but we have 500 people instead of 400 people. So thank you very much.